Earth Week is underway as activists ramp up awareness for various environmental causes leading up to Earth Day on Saturday. One of these causes is the dangerous impact construction of the proposed border wall will have on wildlife and habitat. Joining me now is Jeff Corwin, wildlife biologist and host of Ocean Mysteries and a really good friend of this broadcast. It's always good to have you, Jeff. So I want you to get right into it and explain what scientists are predicting if this border wall gets built.
Well, Alex, if this border wall actually happens, it will be an environmental catastrophe. Essentially what it's doing, Alex, is cutting through nature's bridge which connects Central America to North America and South America. Wildlife have been using this natural corridor for millions of years, and essentially what this administration wants to do is put a 1,200-mile-long barrier right through it. Think of all the different species and creatures that migrate for resources, for reproduction, for seasonality. Many of the animals, Alex, that live in North America evolved in South America and migrated along this natural causeway. So it would be absolutely devastating. There are over 100 bird species that migrate that will be critically impacted by this. And there are nearly 90 endangered and threatened species, some of which could very well be pushed to extinction because of this proposed wall.
Yeah, I know one of the most concerning ones is the Mexican gray wolf, but you've also talked about the jaguar, mountain lions, white-tailed deer, among so many others. What are you hearing, Jeff, from all of your friends in the conservation community, especially those in government? Any word on where this is going and the concerns they have with this administration?
Well, a lot of folks, Alex, are terrified because the models and the tools that we use to manage wildlife in the United States, to manage habitat, natural resources in a pragmatic, common sense way is based on science. And it doesn't seem like this administration cares about science. For example, their dark age denial of climate change. When you take their viewpoint on climate change, you mix in the border wall, and you take how they're basically castrating and decapitating the governmental institutions like the EPA, the Department of the Interior, the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. You take these primary institutions, which they are decapitating and castrating. It's a brilliant strategy to wage a war on wildlife, but this is the strategy that this administration has taken. They castrate because they remove the fuel and the resources to do the job, and they decapitate by deregulating the missions of these organizations. And it's the wildlife and ultimately our children that'll pay the price. Because, Alex, the way I look at it, the resources that we use today, we don't inherit from our ancestors, we borrow from our children. And when it comes to nature and wildlife, the Trump administration is preparing to rob the bank.
Wow. I know, Jeff, that you took on the George W. Bush administration for the efforts to roll back the Endangered Species Act, also their climate change policy. Give me a grade on what you're seeing with the Trump administration so far.
Well, right now, you know, when I'm looking at the Trump administration, Alex, you see Scott Pruitt, the head of the APA, a climate change denier and a person that does not believe in conservation based on what I've seen. That's like having the fox in the hen house. You look at all of these things underway, and basically I give this administration an F, and that's an F for frightening.
Okay. Jeff, I know you've reached out many times to the Trump administration trying to get word and speak with them. I hope that they hear you and give you a hearing, if you will, and let your thoughts be heard. That would be great there. Thank you, Jeff, for sharing things with us.
Thanks,
I appreciate
Alex.
it.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.